Hello, we are live. So welcome to the very, very first The Hangout show live. This is like super, super exciting. One, because it's like a brand new show, and two, because this whole show was basically founded with a group of women, including these two fantastic women by here with me right now, on a retreat we were on recently. So yeah, this show is basically just going to be a bit of a mashup. It's going to be a place to come hang out and chat. We're going to be talking all kinds of things on this show, business, life, family, friendships, anything really. And it's going to be a very, very open space for like everyone to come along. I think there's so many like cliques in the online space, isn't there, where you feel, and like so many people I've spoken to have said they feel like a bit of an imposter, so they don't like to like reach out and be like, you know, they're scared to get invisible. They don't want to reach out to people to like be invited onto this show. They feel, and they hold themselves back. So like, one of the main purposes of this show was for me to like put a space out there for all women in business, no matter who you are, where you're from, no matter how you feel, like you fit in. And that's why I wanted to create this space to just really make women feel welcome. Like literally, if anyone ever wants to be on this show, who's a woman in business or thinking about setting up business or anything like that, just drop me a message and we'll sort it out. Like there's not going to be the whole, you know, you've got to be fit a certain bracket to be able to get on the show. Is none of that. Like it's literally a free for all. Yeah, and I think as well, to be honest, when you have like like non-strategized conversations with like-minded women, like if there's anything I've learned, that's when you really, really like find the magic. That's when things really unfold, and that's when like, yeah, you just learn so much because things just click. So these kind of free-flowing conversations is what this is all going to be about, and it's a space for people to just ask questions as well. So I think all three of us will be able to see the comments. There might be a bit of a delay, but we will try and answer your comments as well and just go with the flow really. So I am going to introduce you. Let me change my screen a minute. So I don't like being the one that's big and then them too little over it. I don't like that. Let me try and change the screen. Right, that's a bit better. I'll just duck under the banner. So this is Chelle and Kerry. So just a quick little bit of background on these two ladies. Now, I've known both of these ladies for well over a year because we've been on a mastermind together. I've known Chelle for a bit longer as well, and we've got so much in common. It's crazy. Like we're from the same hometown, which we didn't even know when we first met, like loads of bizarreness, but amazing. And we are all in our own way, very successful women in business. And yeah, so we spent like a year-long mastermind together. We've done so much like together, and we've literally seen each other's, you know, successes, the struggles, everything together. And I think like it's really, really important to like not lose connection with people like this in your circles. Because if it's one thing I learned from, we sort of tied things up with a retreat we went on a few weeks ago. And if it's one thing a lot of us realized is that we are too quick to just leave connections go. We don't like, and I think everyone's guilty of that, aren't we? Especially when, you know, we're busy business women, we've got families, we've got our own lives. So it's like, it's easy enough to just sort of lose touch. But one thing we realized on that retreat was that it's so important to keep these connections. Like connections are key because, you know, there is a life outside your family. And I always say family first, you know, that's like my main mission, but there is a life outside of family. And it's important that you have like that support as well from like-minded women in business. It just sort of really makes the magic happen. So we kind of vowed to ourselves, to each other, that we're going to stay in touch, that we're all going to make more of an effort to connect as well. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So I don't know how we're going to do this. Do you want to just introduce yourselves? Or Chelle, do you want to say a little bit quickly about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Chelle Shohet. I'm an international stylist and coach, and I help, there you go, the Rockstar Level Up mastermind that we were on. I help entrepreneurs, I help speakers and professionals who want to look, but also, and more importantly, feel more confident in themselves. So
more sexy.
they want to feel more sexy, they want to feel more stylish, they want to feel more comfortable and confident in their own skin, and ultimately become more visible because they're comfortable in their own skin, because they're feeling and they've unlocked that inner confidence, and they use their wardrobe to be able to bring that to life and actually use it as a tool, as a self-care tool, to take the temperature whenever they need to. So yeah, that's me.
Fab. Kerri, do you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Kerry Ashby. I am a mindset and business coach, but I have had quite a journey to get here. I have changed career. I was in nursing. I managed a national team. I was incredibly stressed, burnt out, changed career, started my own business in floristry. So a complete change for me. But from that, I now help other florists and those in the floral industry on their business. So I help them with their mindset, because that's so important, as well as business strategy. So I've taken everything that I've learned through my careers, and now I help others grow the career that they want, and to grow a profitable and sustainable business for them. So it's quite niche. It's for the florist industry. It's not to say I don't help other people, I do, but I work on their mindset as well as their business strategy.
And it's good, you just said there, like you work with mostly like in niche industries, florists, but you work with other people. And like, that's a good topic actually. Hi, whoever's saying hi is just saying Facebook users, not telling me who, but hello.
You need to just give StreamYard your permission to be able, so that we can see your who Facebook user is. Kat.
Oh, hi, Kat. Hello. If it's Kat that I'm thinking of, she's from the Rhondda as well. Chelle's from the Rhondda as well, Kat, if that's the right Kat. From there everywhere. So yeah, like niche is really important when it comes to business, isn't it? And a lot of people, yeah, it is. A lot of people hold back on creating a niche because they feel like they are sort of restricting themselves, holding themselves back from like a wider market, so to say. Like, it's just like when I was in the wedding industry. Yeah, when I was in the wedding industry, I was really reluctant. Like when my first coach told me, like, you need a niche, you need to do one kind of wedding, not like try and do it all. I was thinking, but then I'm restricting myself to people who want this wedding. I want to show that I can do it all. But it's all about like, I remember the best way to like sort of, I got my head around it was thinking, if I was a wedding planner who I ended up doing luxury countryside weddings, but they were like non-traditional. So it was like alternative food options. It wasn't like a formal, but it was in that setting type of thing. So we'd have different food stations and stuff like that. So that was the area I niched in. So then all my platforms, my social media, everything was all like crying out that one particular style, very, very specific style. And before that, I was like a bit of a mishmash. It was showing all different styles. So if you think you're a person looking to get married, you know in your head, like you've done all the research, you kind of know in your head what you imagine that perfect day to be like. Yeah. So if you come across someone, a wedding planner, who is like a mismatch of all different things, you might come across like bits of the style you're looking for, but most of it is all mismatch. But then you come across that one planner who everything is that one style you want. I got goose pimples for some reason. It's like, it's magic, isn't it? It's like, that is the person, and without a doubt, you can clearly know who you're going for. So you can either put like your messaging and what it is you do out there to everyone and repel a lot of people because they'll find someone more niche, or you can niche in one area that you prefer. Perhaps it's that you niche in an area of like a target audience that you know you'd prefer to work with that kind of person. Like I niched my coaching business and I target family passionate women. That's not to say I don't work or I exclude anyone who's not a mother. It just means that from the get-go, people can see that I'm really family focused, family first, family passionate. I have like my family values are strong. And that helps my business in so many ways because one, I'm working with people who I absolutely love. I connect with them on such a deeper level than what I did before I niched into that area. And like two, when Aria comes bombing into the room, like, let me say hi, mom, let me say hi, showing her food in her mouth and everything. It's not so like, trust me, it's happened. She even whacked me with a giant teddy once and I was like, on a call with like my client. She's like literally like a tornado when she enters the room. But it's like, you know, you've got your ideal perfect clients and they're going to love you even more for that. That's why like my clients, I get on so well with them. We just gel so well. Whereas if there was someone there that was a bit more like, you know, some people prefer a professional approach, don't they? They don't mix family and business and that's okay, but it's just not me. Yeah. So it's about, it makes a big difference, doesn't it? So like,
it makes a huge difference. For instance, I said to you guys when we were on the retreat, way back at the beginning of my business, I was doing lots and lots of networking, and I went to this one networking event, and there were like 4 other stylists in the room. And at the time, I was only just starting to bring the coaching into my styling business. So I was still predominantly doing the personal shops and the wardrobe edits and things like that, which now actually only serves part of the package. But back then it did a lot. And the task that we got given by the leader of this networking event was to come up with a word that summed up what it was that you did, or to give a word that would really draw people in. It could be a word that you help people feel, it could be a word that you help people do, etc. And I was the last out of the stylists to actually say a word. Now, everybody else had taken colour, taken style, taken confidence, and I'm sitting there going, okay. And I'd actually had conversations with clients in the lead up to this networking event. And the thing that kept coming up, and it like, listen to what's going on, listen to the language your clients are giving you, because they're giving you everything you need when it comes to this, was sexy. Oh my God, Chelle, now I feel sexy again. Now I'm actually feeling like I'm attractive again. I'm feeling confident again. But it's like my husband's looking at me again, or I feel like I can be that kind of confidence that I had when I was younger, when I was feeling more sexy and more me, if they just had a baby, etc. And so I just used the word sexy, and that every woman in the room turned around and went, oh, tell me more. And I knew in that point that was going to play its part somewhere along the line in something. And for a very long time, I've been talking to clients one-to-one about the fact that they, you know, when we do this work, what often happens, almost 99% of the time happens, is that you get to a point in your process where you feel more sexy because you are actually feeling more confident in your own skin. You trust yourself. You are enjoying your clothes. You're enjoying being visible. And so a lot of women connect that with feeling that kind of sexiness, that inner sexy. And inner sexy is different for every woman. Some women, they're still very conservative. Other women, they're a little bit more raunchy. They show a little bit more skin. Other women, it's more color. Other women, it's about wearing colourful underwear and knowing that they've got this sexy, colourful underwear underneath their outfit, but on top, the outfit is really professional, you know, pinstripe suits. So the word sexy means a lot of different things to a lot of different women. But
it's like a niche in its own self, isn't it?
Yeah, but niching down into knowing that it's something about being confident in your own skin has evolved itself.
Yeah,
and drawn so many people in.
Yeah, I think when we're in business, there are stereotypes in every kind of business, aren't there? There's this image of this is what other people do, so therefore you should do this. And the online world is so noisy, really noisy. And we get drawn into these stereotypes, and we think, if that person's successful and they're doing that, that's what we need to do, or we need to look like this. But we don't. We need to rip up those stereotypes, and we need to do what's right for us and for our business, and follow your own like your own dreams. Really, you need to rip up that rule book and just go with it, and go with what's right for you. And this comes down to like the people that you choose to work with, because this is your business. You choose who you get to work with, and they need to be people that you resonate with. And if I'm very much like you, then I go with it, and I'm very much you know, life is life, and I often have to get up and answer the doorbell when I'm on a live, or
I've got a homeschooling 9-year-old who will come in and kind of go, I'm here regardless. And it's like,
fine. People know that. Like my people, if I have to get up and answer the door or do whatever, they're still there when I come back. Like nobody's gone. But it's your opportunity in business to create the business that you want. It's going to make you feel the way that you want to feel and work for you. It's really important. We should not have to follow the stereotypical business model as such.
And it's like we think as well what we assume we should be like, and that stereotype. I done a training in another group earlier today, and one thing that I talked about on there was like sustainability, and like for your business to be really long-term sustainable, it's really important that you put you first and you build it around you. And it all ties into the same thing. It's like when it comes to your niche, when it comes to choosing who you want to work with, your target audience, it all comes under one sort of broad bracket, really, doesn't it, of putting you first. Because if you put you into your business, people are going to love you regardless. The people who don't, they'll find another path. And it's like, but people will be attracted to you for you. Whereas if you try and be something you think you should be, because, do you know what, I need to be more professional because that's what I need to do, to kind of have this business and to get these clients. Or I need to be like pretending that I got loads of money and all this to be like, to get the kind of clients I need for this, or I need to be, whatever it is, like if you pretend, that's not sustainable, because then the minute like shit hits the fan and you're feeling a bit run down, it's hard to like put on an act like that all the time, isn't it? You can't just turn up like paint in that face. Whereas when you truly learn to just put yourself into your business, niche to work with the people you really want to niche with, you can like utterly show up no matter what's going on. And it's like, because you're not painting a face, you just show up regardless. And I think that's when you truly like, that's like groundbreaking, innit? When you're able to do that. It's
that's
like,
when you start to flow and the magic starts to happen, because you're comfortable knowing that you can't really say anything wrong, because you're just being authentically you. And also, I think it also allows you to then grow, because when we try to be something we're not, when we try to fit into a mold, we give ourselves these really strict structures, or for me, when it comes to a person's wardrobe, they won't wear this because of this. They won't allow themselves to wear something that, even if they feel more comfortable in really soft materials, they'll, oh no, I have to be professional, I have to wear pinstripes, I'll only wear pinstripes, even though that's the most uncomfortable thing for them. It's a great metaphor for if you open your wardrobe and everything goes with everything else, all the colours work for you, all the patterns work for you, and when you're wearing it, you feel comfortable and you kind of forget you're wearing it because you're totally aligned with it.
Yeah.
Then if you can imagine, if you're then wearing something that is totally goes against everything, so it's pulling you in so tight that you feel like you can't breathe, the material is itching, it's irritating you, or you can't walk in the shoes, or the trousers are just the wrong fit for you, you are unconsciously, you are so distracted that you can't talk openly and authentically. Because you've got all this going on in the background, and that's exactly what happens when you don't niche down into the right niche for you in business. If you are trying to be something you're not, you're constantly trying to think and compare yourself to the person that you're trying to be, or the niche that you're trying to do. And so you don't turn up authentically, you don't trust your thoughts, you don't trust your comments, your interactions, and it shows through, and then people start to get a different vibe with the person that shows up for the call as opposed to their marketing.
Yeah, that's so true. I got a couple of comments here, so I'm just going to read through them. So a few people have said hi. So hi, Bernie. Some of the other highs, we can't see who it is because it says just Facebook user. So if you're going to show up more regularly, especially with like anyone using StreamYard and you're tuning in, if there's a button, I don't know, it should be on the live stream, shouldn't it, I think?
Yeah,
is it on the live stream? Yeah, there's a button you can click on here, and it should allow you to you give permission for us to see who you are, basically, so we can see who you are then. Bernie says she loves this. Yeah, this is the best thing, and this is what I was talking about. When you come together with like-minded people and just free flow, just see where the conversation goes, like magic happens. Like we're having this whole conversation around niching, which wasn't planned, but that's like the area it goes in when you put like-minded people together. So we've got, it says again, Facebook user, I'm not sure who it is, but it says, I've been working my business for over 14 months now, and I found my niche. We probably all got some really good advice for you over here, so I'll just put my quick pennies worth in really quick for you. So the first thing I always tell my clients to do is think about, if you've got clients for a start, I'd always start there. If you've already got clients, you've worked with different people, think about them on different personality perspective. So which ones of them have been at a joy? Which ones have you, if it's a service-based sort of business, which ones have you really, really enjoyed? Or even product-based, who have you felt connected to, who's been easy, who's been, it's just flowed nice, and just try and figure out all the reasons around why that person was such a ideal client. If you have never had any clients, then I would always say to start working inwards and think about yourself, think of your personality, your traits, think of people in general, just in life, who do you really resonate with? Who do you really get on with really well? Hi, Heidi. I can see another comment from Lydia. Catch up later as I'm working. No worries. Just a couple of pointers there, where to start. I'm sure the girls have got some good pointers as well, if any of you want to share some tips.
Yeah, I just want to add, think about your business. If somebody knocks on your door today and said they wanted to work with you, who would they be? This is your opportunity to figure out who you want to work with. And like Bethan said, think about good experiences you've had, and think about people that you've worked with. And if you haven't, who would they be? Who would they be knocking on your door? What is your ideal you know, your ideal person, what would you love to do? And then you can design your business around that, because those people are out there. You just need to talk to them.
Yeah,
Definitely. And I think if you're struggling with niching, I think the best thing to do is literally almost come together like we did in our retreat, come together and have a conversation about where you want to go with your business, how you want to build it, because sometimes we can do it very much in a vacuum, especially at the beginning of our businesses. We can very much be so self-critical. We can almost think everything and work through everything in a vacuum. And I know that on that retreat, there were several of us that we're all getting to the next point, which means our niche is either getting even more niche, or we were having realizations about actually there's more detail in our star clients. So the clients that make our hearts sing and actually really, really we do the very best work with. And that information, sometimes we can't see it. We can't see past the end of our own nose. And so like, have a conversation, have a roundtable conversation. If you're not already in a network where you can do that, you know, bring it into a community like Bethan's community, where you can actually have those conversations and just go, is anybody up for just, you know, listening about my business and talking to me? We drew it out of each other, and it was in those breaks and in those breakout areas where we, you know, each of us realized different things. I got reminded about the inner sexy thing, and that's now starting to really start to come up in my marketing, because even though it was a key component in the programs, it's now coming out in the marketing. Somebody else realized a particular type of person that they were attracting, and they hadn't even realized that was the type of person that they were attracting and working with, but that's the person they were doing the best work with. And that completely flipped everything on their head for them, because it gives them a realization of not only about themselves, but it gives them clarity. So don't forget that give yourself the opportunity to actually talk it out. Don't do it in a vacuum. Also, make sure you're talking to your community, talking to your audience, because they will give you the language, they will give you the feedback. And whenever you get one of those clients, or if you've got a product business, somebody who goes out of their way to say thank you, goes out of their way to give you a testimonial, goes out of their way to show people or to share it, make a note of them, find out more about them, because they'll become your raving fans, and then there's your niche. Your niche is already there. It's all within you, and it's all within what you're doing right now.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to change as well, because your audience, the people that are listening to you, you know, ask them what they want. Ask them what is it that they need, because I've just had this conversation today with one of my clients, and out of that conversation I've come up with another, you know, plan. And we need to be asking people what they want. And as your business grows and as your clients' businesses grow, you will need to you know, evolve as well. Your niche now won't be the same as your niche in a year's time and 2 years' time. And you do need to go with it. You just need to go with the flow.
Yeah, don't be scared to evolve.
Yeah, and sometimes as well, like, don't put too much pressure on yourself, because like sometimes, especially if you're at the very start of your business journey, you can feel like you've got to have it all worked out right now. I need to know my niche, I need to know everything crystal clear. But if it's one thing I've learned, and I know full well the girls will tell you the same by here, like, you will work it out as you go along. Like Kerry was saying, like, you will work it out, like, and things will change. Like, you'll kind of fall into that niche, because the more you start speaking to people, and like Chelle was saying, the more you get in front of people, the more you bring people into your audiences, the more you speak to them and get to know them, and you'll start sort of seeing the kind of people that you just really work well with, the kind of people you can help more if it's like a service-based business. But don't pressure yourself into, don't allow yourself to get stuck thinking. I've had clients in the past say like, oh, I'm stuck, I just can't figure out the niche, that I'm supposed to be in. And I've said to them, like, just don't stay there, like trying to figure that out. Just move on, keep like working through business, keep on with the strategy, keep on doing what you need to do. And don't let the fact that you haven't figured out your niche stop you from getting out there, because it'll come to you.
Yeah. And don't worry about having a niche. Don't feel that by having a niche you are alienating yourself from a whole huge audience, because I did that. I just thought I should do what I do for a lot more people, but actually you can't be all for everybody. So by niching, you just find the people that you really, really want to work with. And we've only got so many minutes a day. We can only help so many people. You can't be all for everybody. So don't be afraid to niche and think that you're getting rid of 95% of the population, because you only need your 5%. You only need your people. So don't be afraid of niching.
Yeah. The thing is, like, when you do this and you niche, it just brings so many opportunities, like in the sense that you'll have like loyal clients who will return, and even if they don't need anything from you at a specific time, they'll refer. Like, referrals are one of your hottest sales leads. So it's like, just always think, is that loyal fan base that you want. Kath says, can I ask a question, please? I want your opinions. Of course you can, my darling. Fire away. I'm just going to have a quick read back, see I haven't missed anything. Kath says, I can't really niche, she said earlier. We'll chat about that now, actually. So Kath's business is like, sort of like an agency, aren't you, Kath? So you're like a bit of like a job center sort of thing. Is that saying it right? Sorry if I've got that completely wrong. But you help people with employment, you help them find jobs, and you also help businesses find staff, isn't it? You're like that middle person, aren't you? So is that your question? I can't see another comment, but I did see it earlier on that you said you can't really niche. Why do you feel you can't niche with that?
Let us know in the comments, Catherine, what your question is and what you need our input in, and I'm sure all three of us will be able to give you something.
She go, yes, essentially, I'll explain now, maybe some time typing in, no worries. Right, so we've hit the half-hour mark. We're going to hang on and see Kath's message when she typed it up. And are you guys all right to keep going for another 10 minutes? Yeah? I did say I'm going to keep these shows to like half hour, 45 minutes at the most, because I think like if anyone's like me, I like time, isn't it? So I'll try and like keep them in, but we'll wait. Yeah, definitely. So we'll wait for Kath's question now, and then we'll tie up after that then. Let me just double check I haven't missed anyone else's questions. Facebook user, sorry I can't see your name on your. Hi, nice to know you're based in Wales, not far from me. I'm Abergavenny. Fabulous. I worked in Abergavenny Hospital for a little while, like because it was all part. I used to work in Ystrad Mynach, and they linked down there with like Abergavenny, so I had to go up there and work once or twice. But yeah, hell of a trek from me though. Kath, so I can, to a degree, as I can say yes or no to working with some clients if they want something I think is unreasonable. But basically, I have a recruitment agency. And then she hasn't finished writing while she's writing.
Okay.
So, Kerri or Chelle, do you have any, like, when it comes to like a recruitment agency, what's your views on niching with a kind of recruitment agency?
I think so. My background before I actually went into independent styling and the shopping and everything like that. I worked in the luxury goods industry. And so it's don't niche too much, as I have stadiums, race courses, hotels, restaurants, and a call center, and they all need staff, but it's so hard. Okay, so I was working in the luxury goods industry. So think designer brands and watches, jewelry, so Rolex, Cartier, all of those, and then you've got the big branded high street stores like Maplin and Webb, and all of those that actually have these boutiques within them, or they have shops, big brand shops and things. And there are recruiters that work within that industry, and they purely work within that industry. It is definitely something. Now, you say, Catherine, that you have stadiums, racecourses, hotels, and restaurants, but then you have a call center. So I would say that you've got one thing in there that really stands out as being fairly different. Forgive me if I'm totally taking this out of context, so correct me if I'm wrong. One thing that's fairly different to your stadium, your racecourse, your hotel, your restaurants, because all the others are basically hospitality, whereas the call center is customer service from a different point of view. It's from a totally different perspective. So I would say you seem to be niching without even realizing into hospitality. Now, the things that I learned from the recruiter within the luxury goods industry, and I'd be more than happy to share more of this afterwards, Catherine. Please connect with me and I'd be happy to share the information even more detail, is that he literally started to work specifically on networking in those areas, in the luxury goods areas, and in working in networking up with those particular shops, brands, and all of that. And he became very knowledgeable about what was needed in that area, in that niche. And then that allowed him to then also pick up candidates that would then fit really nicely within those brands, within those organizations and things like that. So I think there is definitely a space there to niche. Don't be sidetracked by the odd call center that's going to come in, because they will come in, and it's whether or not you want to take that on or plow more of your focus on building that network and becoming known as the person to go to for that hospitality area in that area that you are synonymous with. Know your knowledge. One of the things that makes him stand out, and to this day he is a standout recruiter, people seek him out and he seeks people out from all over the world in that luxury goods arena, is because he knows his knowledge. So he knows the brands inside out. He knows, and he keeps connections in those networks, which I'm sure you're an expert at as well, in those areas. And then he aligns himself with those more upmarket luxury areas. And a lot of people get introduced to him when they want to get up the market in that area, because he's known as the person to go to. So it's how you communicate where you want to be. And then and
I just think Chelle, that was perfect. That answered that question. But I just want to add that don't feel pressured into niching. Niching doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. So don't feel that you have to have the answers now and that your ideal clients will come to you tomorrow. But you've just written it down here that you want to niche down on the candidate side to support parents back into work. So all you need to do is to start talking about that.
Yeah.
Start talking about that in your messaging. Start talking to those people, and then they will turn to you. And it will happen organically, that you'll find the more you talk about it, the more you will attract those people, and then your niche will So don't feel that it's not going to change overnight. It never does. We have to work on it. But the more you talk to those people, the more they'll come to you. And that's when you get the
I think that's amazing advice from both here. And I think as well, it would be really good for Chelle and Kath for you to actually connect outside of this, because I think you could really have quite a bit of advice for each other there. I want to deliver courses and workshops for those parents, but on the client side, I can't niche too much. Yeah. I wanted to know.
You don't have to niche in every area of your business. Like you can have different parts of your business that you run differently, and they could have very different
niches and attractions
within them.
Yeah, definitely. If you're
it's not a one shop fits all type scenario.
Yeah, it's about having different brackets, isn't it?
I was just about to say, I mean, from what you're saying, Catherine, I mean, niching down to be the go-to organization, the go-to person to reintegrate back into work for parents means that there's a hell of a lot of scope there. But concentrate on one area first. So hospitality is where so you've got a lot of networking, you've got a lot of contacts to be able to funnel your clients, those potential candidates back into work. But then in the future, you might find that actually you're getting because you're attracting a lot of people wanting to return to work, which right now is the best time to be really working on that and creating that community and that organization. You'll then find that you will have capacity to expand, and you might bring on, a call center focused department within your organization that really helps people take the training that you have, but then funnels them in there. You then might, in the future, be able to open up different departments and different specialities. You could really be the pin that holds all the opportunities below them, because you can then expand hugely. But
it's like
on that pin first.
It's like when you're leveling up, you automatically kind of fall into segmenting as you grow your business. This is a bit like what we touched on earlier about niching further type of thing. And you can have different brackets to your business, and it's like it's difficult for you to do that in the beginning when you're doing all the things yourself. But as you start growing, your business grows, your team grows, you will be able to start really segmenting those different areas and managing it well as well. It's a very good point, actually. Hospitality is a multi-billion pound business, and I'm so well known by managers that helps. The parents aspect, I'm working on the funnels now, but struggling to work out whether I can put a message across in my newsletters for this. So this is I can't say it, but simple. yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the one.
My biggest piece of advice on that is to literally get talking about what it is that you're passionate about. Because by talking about what it is that you're passionate about, you'll attract people into your audience. They'll start talking to you. Then you're able to collect that knowledge, collect that language, and actually you will find all the information you need in there. And if you need a little bit more, you can ask more, succinct and more focused questions in your stories or in your posts.
And that's where you said you're already working on the funnel side of it, so that's where you'll start segmenting and pulling them through. So you could put an email out, pull them through into a separate list, or you could put a new freebie out and pass that to the people that you're talking to. So you will start having lists within lists type of thing within your email marketing and stuff, and that's how you really segment. And that's the beauty of leveling up as well, because you really start speaking to people in a more niched way. So it's like a niche within a niche type of thing. This is all next level stuff. It's just you've got to kind of open your mind to it a bit, and it'll come. Don't force it, but it will come. You'll learn this stuff. I didn't even know when I learned segmenting and niching with a niche. It just happened. So and it will. You're on the right track. We are gonna start wrapping this up now. And if anyone's got any more questions, feel free to pop them on the thread, because, you know, I'll ask Chelle and Kerri to both pop on the thread as well, and maybe pop their links on there so you can easily find them. And if anyone wants to reach out to any one of us, you're more than welcome to. And I say that I know Kerri and Chelle won't mind that either. But yes, it's been fab for our very first show. We ended up talking all about niching, which is a massive value in training. When we started in the background before coming on, I was painting my nails and I was like, well, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about connections. And we started talking about niching instead, but it's still brilliant. Love it. Thank you everyone for watching. Thanks Chelle and Kerri for joining us. I'm gonna love you all and leave you and see you soon. Bye guys.
Take care everyone.